Hello, if you're new here, hello, and welcome to the Blazin7 channel. I do stuff here like play games and animations and stuff. This usually isn't what I do on my channel, but I decided to do something different because I thought it'd be fun. If you're a returning viewer, I'm sorry. Look, I know I said that the Minecraft Hardcore series would be next, but I did this advanced technique called lying, because you had to understand my perspective here. I'm editing on a 2015 MacBook Pro. There's a 3.5-hour battery life, so I have to keep it on record constantly so it doesn't die in the middle of recording and editing. And then it gets really hot, and when it gets really hot, the fans go... Yeah, I think you can understand why it's taking a bit. But anyways, yeah. If you could read the title of the video, I bought a CRT TV in 2025. I do want to mention that this isn't the first time we had a CRT. I got one from a relative of mine, and I barely used it because they didn't really have the proper equipment for it at the time. And we kind of left it in hiding for years, but that's actually where the story starts. I remember talking to someone, and they told me that they still had my CRT, and I was like, hey, I remember that CRT, and then it kind of escalated from there. I started doing research on CRTs. I was like, you know, I actually have the proper equipment for it now, or at least more stuff to use it with, so why not look online? And I looked online, and oh my goodness! Now, I've been on eBay before. I know prices can be pretty inflated, but Jesus Christ, this was a whole nother level. People were selling these TVs for $200 plus $50 shipping. It was crazy. I found out the reason why for these inflated prices, and it's because retro gaming is becoming a lot more popular, which is the reason why I wanted to use it, and for DVD purposes, obviously, but I'll get into that later. So people have been buying up the stock of these for lots of money, and they don't use them, so they sell for a lot of money because people realize, hey, the demand for these is back, so we might as well sell this old TV for a ton of money, and they do, and it raises the price of everything, not to mention the tons of YouTubers constantly talking about how they're using old technology because it's trendy, which honestly I can understand if you want to use old technology. New technology has a lot of stuff that kinda sucks, but doing this kind of inflates the prices a ton, and even though they think they're doing no harm, it does. I got this theory from this video, which you should check out, link in the description. It's great, explains the reason why old tech is starting to become more expensive. But anyways, off that tangent and back to the story, I definitely couldn't buy one of these on my own because at this point I only had about $5 to my name. I was dirt poor at the time. But fast forward to around like October, and we actually were able to get our old CRT out, but it wasn't able to fit in my room anymore because I have a bunch of junk in there. So we had to leave it outside for people for free, and you can guess what happened. Some dude cut the cord. Like, I don't know why. They just cut the cord. They had no reason to. I think they just thought it would be a funny prank. Just a funny goof. Haha. Why aren't you laughing? That was the incident that got me back into CRTs, so I started asking for one for Christmas, and fast forward to Christmas now, and you want to know what I got besides, of course, the obvious? Shrek pajamas and a Flamin' Hot Cheeto Snuggie. Yeah, that's what I got. I'm not joking. Literally, I'm not. I can't even really be mad about that. That's kind of funny. Anyways, when I found out I was getting my CRT during Christmas was when, during like the last couple gifts, they're like, yo, this big box out here's for you. And I was like, yeah, I knew that was a CRT. So I went over and can you guess what it was? It was a CRT. Wow, really? Did you know the sky is blue? Anyways, getting this home was an entirely different deal. I had to wait until like 2 days because it was kinda heavy and it was hard to transport. And fast forward around 2 days, we were actually able to get it transported after such a long time. and it was able to fit in my room fine, and it worked fine. However, I do want to mention when I was first booting it up, I was afraid this thing was going to implode. Because, quick fact lesson, CRTs can implode. If they aren't vacuum sealed, they will literally just... And, yeah, there goes your TV. Thank God it didn't implode, and it worked fine. It's just a little scary when it boots up and shuts down. Because when you boot it up, it makes a quick loud sound, and then it fades in. And when you turn it off, it flashes really quickly, and then it turns off. Now, since I had the CRT in my room, there was just one issue. I had no regular AV cables. Sure, I had AV cables for the Wii and PS1 I had, but I didn't have any AV cables for something else. I used to have a DVD player for my old CRT TV, but God knows where that is. At least we know where the CRT is right now. It's hiding. But the DVD player, I don't know, it could be in like China or something. Anyways, I needed to figure out a way to get AV cables, or at least an HDMI to AV converter so I could use my other consoles for it. Getting that was a whole nother hassle. First of all, we looked on our store's local website, and we found out it's actually in our store, which is surprising. I wouldn't expect them to sell it there. It's not like the most common thing ever. But they had a converter and some AV cables I could use, so that was great. So we decided to wait until tomorrow and see what happened. Fast forward a day, and it turns out I woke up a little late, and they had already gone to the store, and I forgot to remind them. So I went up to them and asked, "Did you get the AV converter?" "No, we forgot." "How could you forget? I was talking about it all week." I'm not gonna get mad at them. I'm just mad at myself for forgetting to remind them because I was tired and I forgot to wake up earlier. So that was my bad. So we decided to reschedule it tomorrow. And then we rescheduled it the next day, and fast forward, and can you guess what happened? We actually were able to go to the store, and when we got to the store, we found the converter, but there was something interesting. It was twice as expensive than on the website, and there were no AV cables I could use for it. So it was essentially useless. I left the store empty-handed and in a hurry because there was a storm. Although I did buy a ramen cup, I wasn't going to leave the store entirely empty-handed. I was just going to leave it empty-handed with the thing I literally went to the store for. So we got home, and on the way there was a massive train. I was like, can this day get any worse? It didn't. Thank God it didn't. But yeah, we went home, and we looked online, and we found one for very cheap, and it had the AV cables and the HDMI cables built in. So that was great. Anyways, fast forward the next day. Yes, it took 3 next days to do this. It was insane. I did eventually get it, and it worked fine. Fun fact, we almost got the wrong converter. We almost got an AV to HDMI instead of an HDMI to AV. There's a specific difference, trust me, and it made all the difference. Thank God we caught it before we bought it, and that would have been bad. Very bad, and we would have had to wait another the next day. Yeah, my CRT experience has been pretty great. Do I personally recommend you get one? Well, if you have enough knowledge of the tech and you know what you're doing, yeah, go for it. And if you know you're going to use it, yeah. However, if you're doing it because you just like buying old tech and you think it's like a neat and trendy thing to do, please don't without doing some research first. I'm not going to be responsible for you buying a CRT because my experience was good. I just wanted to tell you my experience because I've been waiting for like 2 years to get this. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching and all that. See ya for now.